morning and welcome to another edition of the Market Review, where we discuss developments in the financial and capital market as relates to the economy. Just recently, the Nigeria Exchange Limited, which of course is the offshoot of the demutualization of the Nigeria Stock Exchange, happened. It was approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Corporate Affairs Commission. And as part of the plans to deepen its markets, the NASD NGPLC, which drives the activities in the Unlisted Securities Market, announced that the shares of the Nigeria Exchange Limited has now been admitted on its platform, which of course has been a major story in the markets. So today we'll be discussing that and its implications for the Unlisted Securities Market and how this is going to further deepen this part of the capital market ecosystem. With me to have this conversation is Ifeoma Uba-Onubogu. She is the head legal and compliance of the NASD. Nice to have you and good morning.
Good morning, Otobasi. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you very much. And let's get on to the conversation. What is the implications of this admission into of the NGX shares in the NASD? What implications for the Unlisted Securities Market?
Thank you. So first, I would say that it is a confirmation of NASD's role in the market as a provider of a platform for shareholders of unlisted securities to gain liquidity in the Nigerian capital market. We also believe that this will bring more investor confidence in the OTC market, because once investors understand the characteristics of the OTC market, then they can appreciate its potentials and the various options that are open to them on the market. We also believe that this admission also underscores the importance of complying with existing regulation, particularly SEC rules on trading in unlisted securities. So as we might all be aware, SEC has rules which state that no trade or no transaction in the securities of an unlisted company should take place outside the confines of a registered securities exchange. So NGX shares being admitted to NASD also underscores that point. And I would also like to encourage issuers of unlisted securities, as well as capital market operators, who advise those issuers to encourage their companies to admit their securities on the OTC market in order to create secondary liquidity for their shareholders, as well as aid in price discovery of their shares.
That's a very good advice. They should, those are the issuers of unlisted securities should come on board to the OTC market, because the secondary market creates opportunity for them to deepen liquidity, and that's a very good one. I like the fact that it underscores the importance of compliance with the rules and regulations on unlisted securities operated by SEC, because compliance is very, very important, which is where you are very keen. But the first part you said of the investor confidence in the OTC market is very important, because we've been tracking, even through ProShare, the capitalization, and we hope that that will really begin to increase further. And that brings us to the next question of how this listing will boost the capitalization of the NASD exchange. But let's first start with the pricing and the volumes of the shares that were admitted. If you can take us through that, the price and the volumes, and how that will boost the capitalization of the NASD, which is currently over a 500 billion naira market.
Okay. So in terms of pricing, the NGX shares came on board at 25 naira. As at yesterday, I think the price had dropped to about 23 naira. In terms of how this would boost capitalization on NASD, we believe that in the long run, definitely the admission of the NGX shares to the NASD OTC Securities Exchange will boost capitalization. I mean, this past week, we already can see an upward movement in the trades, and this is expected to impact the NASD Securities Index, also known as NSI, moving forward. However, it's important to point out as well that the NGX shares will only be reflected on the NASD Securities Index after a trading period of 3 months. Now, this is in line with the rules and regulations of NASD OTC Securities Exchange for new entrants into the market. This is because we want to ensure that we continue to maintain an orderly market and we are able to manage any sharp and irregular price movements. So where there is a new entrant, there has to be a trading period of 3 months before we reflect, that security on our index. For investors and analysts who are interested in tracking securities trading on our market, we have a complementary index that tracks these impacts, and it's called the All NSI.
NSI.
The All NSI, yes.
Okay.
ALLNSI, NSI for NASD Securities Index.
So that's what you use to track the index.
Yes.
Okay. So these 3 months that you said, the 3 months for which before it reflects on the NSI, is this applicable in terms of global standards? There are also unlisted securities market or OTC markets in UK, US, Germany, and other developed markets. Did you take this as a template or just a unique one for Nigeria? Did you benchmark this process, or you just developed this and said, okay, this is how we want to operate this market to make it orderly, like you said?
Okay, so in developing these rules, we actually looked at other markets, some other jurisdictions, but then again, we also had to consider the peculiarity of the Nigerian situation. We observed, it came after we had observed a number of, practices from certain capital market operators, and we thought, okay, there was a need to ensure that, you didn't just have sharp, irregular price movements on the index. And so that was why we came up with this rule, really. So I would say that it is really tailored to the Nigerian situation, especially the OTC market in Nigeria.
Okay, so I like that fact, because when you have that orderliness and you are entrenched the governance, definitely when it comes on board, it will not have adverse effect on other listed entities on the NSI and the NASD, which is very important to drive an orderly market. So that's well noted here. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission recently issued circular on the proliferation of platforms, online platforms, and the need again for caution. I just want to get your reaction as one of the key operators in the market. I know last week we had the first Capital Market Committee meeting where issues like this were discussed too, and of course the NASD was well represented. What's the NASD's reaction to this process, and how do you intend to align with this new issuance from SEC, ensuring that the market is strengthened, and also considering the fact that you have frameworks for digital platforms and even deepening the market to that regard?
Okay, so just to give some context, as you said, the SEC recently issued a circular, and the summary of which is that only foreign securities listed on an exchange registered in Nigeria may be issued and offered to the Nigerian public. And the SEC also went ahead to issue an advisory to investors who trade in any of these online platforms to, be guided. So we believe that SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, as the apex regulator of the Nigerian capital market, has a responsibility for protecting investors, as well as for regulating the investing environment and the general trading of securities in Nigeria. And so they are well within their right. So that's the first thing we need to note. They are well within their right to come up with the circular. However, we have the opinion that whether we accept it or not, innovation is here to stay. And any innovation that affords Nigerians the opportunity to diversify their investment portfolios is not likely to go away so soon. So we strongly believe that it will be in the best interest of the public, as well as the Nigerian capital market, for SEC to expedite the publication of some sort of framework or guidelines to license these platforms and bring them within its regulatory purview. We believe that this will ensure consumer confidence. It will also send a statement to the investing public that the regulator, while fulfilling its regulatory mandate, is also committed to encouraging the adoption of innovation in Nigeria's financial services industry. As NASD, of course, because we are an OTC, we also have the flexibility, to accommodate some of these investment platforms when and if they are able to, obtain regulatory approval from the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I believe that this is a developing conversation. We are all watching to see what would happen. We're also aware that one or two of those investment platforms have also, gotten in contact with the SEC with a view to actually know what type of license they will get. But we're all watching to see, and I'm sure that SEC would rise up to the occasion.
I really like what you said about expediting steps in publishing guidelines for licensing online platforms. I know in the US, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, they have an innovation department, and according to SEC, the former chairman, Jay Clayton, it was designed to really understand these digital investment platforms, the developments around digital currencies and all that, to provide proper framework and regulations, like you rightly said. Definitely with the new SEC chairman, Carl Gensler, nominated by President Biden, it's expected that they will continue in that regard. So yes, it's very important to encourage the digital platforms. Like you said, the licensing process is important. I know that NASD is gearing to really, really engage them. And just adding, the fact that, of course, the last week's first CMC, SEC issued a statement, which was published on our platforms and across other major financial media platforms too, that they're ready to engage the fintechs. I guess you received that in the NSD with a big relief in terms of that statement.
Yes, we did. One of our vision statements really is to be the most innovative capital raising platform in Africa. And if you followed our story over time, you would see that we have consistently been at the forefront of innovation, developing technological situations to capital market challenges. Of course, we know about our crowdfunding portal, which is Venture Ramp, which we recently rolled out in June 2020 for donation crowdfunding. We are working currently internally to get licensing from SEC, to be able to run an investment-based crowdfunding portal. In terms of also technology, we've migrated to an automated trading system from the bilateral trading system that we currently had. And also that is also part of the drive, to continue to improve in efficiency and our trading processes. Our monitoring and supervision capabilities have also been driven largely by technology. And so we welcome this development. We're looking forward to working with the fintech industry. Of course, it's an ongoing conversation about partnering with different fintech players. And as we look into the second half of the year, we hope that, we can get things rolling. And so, of course, as things play out, the industry is going to hear what NASD is up to.
Yes, the industry is so eager to hear that. In terms of the prospect for deepening the Nigerian unlisted securities market, I know NSD has various bold plans. You've mentioned one of them, the licensing of its crowdfunding platform. I know that would do a lot in terms of raising funding and doing a lot like we've seen in markets like Singapore, amongst others. But what are the other interesting strategies? I guess maybe you've reviewed one or two now to say, okay, this is what we want to do. as we enter the second half of the year, just to deepen the markets. And of course, the fintech community is also expecting the NSD to be on board. I mean, they've engaged NSD. NSD has been really innovative, like you rightly said. Your counterparts have joined on board, so they're expecting to see you come on board in the fintech community. If you also speak to that too.
Okay. So in terms of deepening the Nigerian unlisted securities market, first, we believe as NASD that let's start from private financing options. So we believe that private financing options continue to grow. And we strongly believe that an organized exchange like NASD can provide a viable platform for these private investors to exit their investments. One of the things that we have worked on in recent times is the NASD private markets, which is a platform that allows shareholders who own shares in private companies to actually, gain liquidity to trade their shares. Of course, we also have NASDEP, which is the NASD Enterprise Portal, which is a cloud-based portal that allows those who are seeking to raise capital, that are small and medium enterprises seeking to raise capital, to raise that capital from investors. So it matches those who need capital with those who are looking to invest in these companies. So we have NASDEP, which is currently working. We are also doing a revamp of the NASDEP portal. So in the next few weeks or months, we should see a new face of the NASD Enterprise Portal. Also, I would like to point out that the government as well has its own role to play in terms of implementing the capital market master plan initiatives, because no matter how much we try to improve our processes, if we don't have an enabling business environment, it just brings all our efforts to naught. So we believe that in terms of policies that can grow the market, the government has a role to play through incentives to both issuers and investors. There's also the need for to build financial literacy among the populace. I mean, an issuer of unlisted securities needs to understand why it needs a secondary market for its securities. And then again, technology, as we've said before, technology is another tool that NASD uses to deepen the unlisted securities market. We've identified technology as a tool to improve efficiency, to improve our trading processes, as well as to open up new opportunities for deepening the market. We've talked about our new trading platform, that's the NASD Electronic Trading System, which is an automated trading system with a matching engine, which now makes trading processes more efficient and seamless. We have improved monitoring and supervision capabilities. Also, as an offshoot of the COVID-19 pandemic, most of our processes are now remote, and because of the fact that we've invested a lot in technology, we're able to run our market seamlessly without any downtime. Yes, I think basically that we have a lot of things in the pipeline, and as we go on, some of the things I can't really talk about them, but as we go on in the coming months, in the coming quarters, we're going to be hearing about them.
One of the big gains and what the pride of Nigeria is the fact that the capital market operators from the Nigeria Stock Exchange, now demutualized as the Nigeria Exchange Limited, the FMDQ, NASD, and even the commodities exchanges were able to leverage technology to work seamlessly. Even the CSD, that's the CSCS. So you speak with colleagues that work there and or friends that work there, and they say, I've not been in the office for almost a year or so plus and working remotely. So that shows how technologies help to really drive activities in the markets, and shows again a positive for Nigeria, which we need to leverage on. And I agree with your point that the Capital Market Master Plan, the implementation, the commitment from the Securities Exchange Commission and support from government is very key to deepening activities in the unlisted securities markets. And once again, the fact that the NGX admission on the NASD would help to boost investor confidence in the OTC. And financial literacy is also very important on why people should list the secondary market, the OTC, and the value it brings in terms of liquidity and others. So a lot is in store, and we hope to engage you in the months to come in terms of the revamp of the NASDAQ, how the NALTS is driving trade and activities, and also in the crowdfunding. We would also like to follow up to know if SEC has finally given that license, because you have millennials that want to do a lot of things, innovative things in the market. So thank you so much for this time. Very interesting conversation. Ifeoma Uba-Onubogu, Head Legal and Compliance of the NASD. And we just want to say kudos to the team, and we hope to see much improvement and development even as the pandemic eases and people begin to get back to their normal life. Thank you once again for the time.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
And that'll be all for this conversation. We looked at the Nigeria Exchange Limited, the NGX admission on the NASD, and the implications for the unlisted securities market in the country. And of course, you want to have more insight or perspectives from this conversation, send your views and comments to news@prosharing.com. And just to let you know that on our platform, on our site, if you log on to www.prosharing.com, if you go to the right hand of the bar, you see where they have the unlisted OTC market. Click on it, you see all the activities in the NASD and development stories, what the NASD has been doing. This is a way of creating that financial literacy and awareness on the benefits and the values in the secondary market and UTC market. Just get to there and you get all the information as required. Both also statements issued by the NASD. Also, you can follow us on our social media platforms displaying on the screen. Till we come your way again, don't forget to stay safe this period. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.